What's up, guys? Welcome to another one of my episodes where we talk about all things high performance, especially for the high performing man. Today, I've got Will with me again, who you may have seen on my Instagram stories. He's the person that I have been doing the first ever men's high performance camp with. Will, welcome back to the podcast.
No, thanks, man. All aboard.
So, we thought we'd give you a recap of the second week and the final week on the final day of the high performance camp. This morning, we ran 8 kilometers, which was more than the goal we had set last Thursday or Friday. Last Thursday or Friday, we said we'd do 7.
Yeah.
This whole time, I actually was trying to get him to do 10. And if you saw my story, I actually recorded a story right before I went on the run. And the last couple of days, I've been constantly mentioning words that have the word 10 in them. I've been saying a lot of attention, like I said, attention motherfuckers in the run. I've been saying tension a lot, tenacious, and sometimes I even signal with my fingers with 10 kicks, 10 punches, everything's 10, because I wanted to plant the idea in his head that 10 was a good number. And I thought my plan would work, but he was already committed to the 7. But we went for 8 anyway because I lied to him about the distance and I got him to do 8 instead. So Will, take us through today's run. What were you thinking prior and during and even now after the run?
Look, I didn't start off great. I think this morning I woke up, I was telling you when I arrived, I had a throbbing headache and a bit of tension in my neck. But I was like, fuck it, you know what? I set a goal. I have to hit it. You know, there was no two ways about it. So what I did, I put on good old David Goggins.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, you gotta go check out this guy got David Goggins on Instagram. Yeah. So you put on David Goggins.
I put on David Goggins on Audible on the way to a meeting point, and it's like, fuck it, you know what? I'm a beast. I'm gonna get this shit. Right?
Yeah.
I don't care if I have to call upon.
Wahash, you're
I
wahash.
have to be a wahash.
Yeah.
I didn't care about pace. I just knew that I started something, I had to finish it,
Mhm.
and I had the goal in mind of hitting 7. And you liked me. He goes, but by the time we had reached 7, and I didn't realize this till later, he's like, "Oh, we've got another 500 meters."
Yes.
By that time you recorded that story,
That
we
was
were already
7.
at 7, right?
Yeah. So what happened there was I purposely paused my watch at 6.5 because I was already 2 steps ahead. I would finish at the car. I would say to us, "We've got 500 more," and then I was prepared for you to say, "What? Isn't this exactly 7?" And I'd show you my watch, which I would have just started again, and it would have said 6.5. So I was ready to play the game, completely play the game. Anyway, you believed me without watching, so.
You know why? It's because the last few days when we go for runs, we would start at the studio and go down to Annandale and then come back, and I'd still have to continue running after I get back to the studio. I'm like, yeah. So I was like, okay, whatever, you know, maybe this is that sort of scenario again. But then I had already in my mind committed to 7. I knew that today being our last day, I had a short day. I'm not even sure we're going to be able to fit in my PM session because Fridays are my family day.
Yeah.
Or family evenings. So I knew I had a lot to do today. So, you know, driving to, where did we go? The Bay Run.
Bay Run, yes.
Driving back was going to take an hour.
Yes.
Then we had an hour recovery session. We had to do, half an hour to fit in breakfast. And then we're going to do probably an hour podcast. You know, there's a good 3.5 hours gone. And we're going to finish by 3:30. So I was conscious of time. And I wanted to fit everything in so we could wrap up, but also I got a couple of sales calls in the afternoon that I wanted to make sure I was prepared for. So in my mind, 7 was done and done, you know what I mean? And I felt good though, I felt fresh, and I don't think the run was hard, which was really surprising because coming into it with a headache and feeling the way I was this morning wasn't fantastic. That headache, that neck tension went away pretty quickly. The first 2 Ks fucking flew. That was the easiest 2 Ks I've ever done. And by the time we reached 5 Ks, which on your story was 5.5, bastard.
Yeah.
I was like, that's got to be the fastest 5 Ks we have done. I'm not sure what the time was.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know the time either because I paused my watch. But we were holding roughly a 6:30, 6:45 split.
That's a pretty good time considering where we started, right?
When we started, you were running at 7:30, roughly 7:30.
in 2 weeks. Like I'm pretty happy with the progress we've made because I could have ran 15 today. Like,
Easily.
Like I still felt fresh.
Yeah.
And I get that now. I get what you were trying to explain to me early on that I didn't initially understand. In regards to like once you get to a certain point, like it's just you can just continue.
Yeah, it feels like you're just moving your feet. There's no heaviness. You're just breathing. It's actually quite relaxing.
Yeah, and I think the work that we did yesterday with the carb load and also the
weight training.
Yeah,
the pad work. And you were like, well, what are we doing here? Why are we doing split squats before a long run tomorrow?
Yeah, and I felt light and bouncy, which was good.
Yep.
So, yeah, that carried me through. And I think the views helped as well, man.
The view, the weather as well. It's early, no sun yet. Yeah, nice wind.
Yeah, so my mind was set in terms of what I wanted to achieve, and I think we got more than we bargained for. I reckon I could write a program now from couch to fucking bay run, hey?
Yeah, we were talking about, after we had breakfast, I said couch to 5 is 9 weeks long.
To get to 5Ks.
5Ks. And I just thought to myself, that is such a low expectation. Like, that is such a low expectation. Obviously, there's people who are struggling to go couch to toilet, and I understand. No, don't get me wrong, I understand. Like, that's clinical. If you're couch to toilet, you fall under the need medical help sort of intervention, you know? But if you're a normal person who is just a bit of a potato, then you shouldn't take you 9 weeks to run 5 kilometers. It should take you at best 4 weeks. Or if you're like with me, I'll get you to run that in like under 2 weeks. That's just my opinion, but you don't have to agree. Anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is you mentioned that we have quite a jam-packed day, right? You had 3.5 hours just committed to the performance camp, but then now you've got to go do a couple of sales calls as well and do things for your business. I really want to focus a little bit on that because last week this was not the case. Last week at this time, you hadn't put out the offer yet. You hadn't put out you hadn't gained any leads yet for this this new revenue branch that you're generating for the business. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
The whole idea from conceptualization during our run.
Yeah.
What day was that? That
was day 6 or day 7.
That would have been Monday.
Monday or Tuesday.
I would have been Tuesday because Monday we had the boys. So on Tuesday's run, we met up at the studio at 6 a.m. went for a run. That day we did 4Ks, 5Ks, 5Ks.
5Ks.
And at the start of the run, it's a mid run to feel. I've got an idea. You know, we've got a 14-day challenge. I think that would work really well. Low barrier offer. You know, but we'll jam it with heaps of value. We hadn't really gone through how that was going to look just yet, but once we finished the run, we ended up coming back and did a half-hour meditation where we set the intention on clearing the mind for the first 15 minutes, and the next 15 was sort of like, okay, let's set the intention, let's focus on the 10K a month in 10 weeks challenge that I've set upon myself. And then within that challenge, set another challenge, 14-day challenge that we're going to roll out as an offer for participants to take part. It's a low barrier offer, get people in there. We built out the offer, we built out the target market, the channels that we want to go through, and then we ended up rolling it out on the same day. So from 6 a.m. conceptualization and discussion, by 5 p.m. on the same day, we rolled that out live, and within 24 hours, we had about 3 leads, I think, and in 48 hours that it's been, we've now on to 7, I think, and we've got about 4 already opt-in.
And your goal is to get 10, yeah?
Yeah. We've got about 4 opt-in, and I've got another higher tier option consult happening later on.
So what I wanted to highlight here is you have the 1 day acceleration. Just something happened on that 1 day and boom, all this productivity and creativity came out of you. But what I want to say is that process probably started as an accumulation of the last 7 days.
Yeah.
You know, and we spoke about this briefly, but when you get everything right, you get your physical right, you get your food right, you get what you can outside of work right, it leaves your mind that time to just think about the problem. Your mind and your heart to think about the problem. And then by removing all those distractions and noise that you usually have through me doing things for you, but also meditation, eventually you came to this banger of an idea and you just knew in your soul, you knew that this was it.
It felt right, because even during meditation, one of the things that Phil said to me was that you're going to have a whole bunch of ideas that come to you through your head, but you're also going to have ideas that come through your heart. And as soon as he said that, something just sort of clicked, and this idea came to me like, okay, this is it, because I don't just know my niche. I've always known my niche, but I'm further niching it down to something very relatively specific. And it felt right. It felt like the $1 million idea, as cliche as that might sound. And I'm comfortable with it. And it's been a good response so far. And yeah, like you said, I think it's a combination of the last 2 weeks, the last 10 days, everything that we've been doing together, and the fact that I don't have to think about the small things like preparation of my food as a big one, and being able to voice some of the ideas, come straight out and speak to someone, bounce ideas with, has been good. And then just being laser focused on the things that I need to do, because I'm not suffering from that brain fog that I normally get. I think the running and the meditation has helped. Now, something I do look forward to every day now is the actual meditation. Like, I thoroughly enjoy that. Do I enjoy the running? No.
Like, if I wasn't there, it'd be a slog, right?
It would be a slog, but whilst I don't enjoy the running, I enjoy how it makes me feel, right? And that's what would keep me going long after you and I wrap up. I would continue to carry on running, maybe not every day, but probably at least 3 days a week. And I miss the gym, so I want to go back to the gym.
Yeah, and I would encourage that too. I think a mix between 3 days of aerobic work, like running, with 3 days of gym is fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm keen for that. But there's definitely been some big takeaways through this experience, and I think this is it's a memorable one, bro.
So let's go into that. Let's just talk about your skill set now. What skills have you taken away from this camp? We can talk about mindset, we can talk about meditation, you can talk about your physical. What skills have you taken away?
I think it's just reminded me of me, who I am, and how I used to be. I think when I first started this with you, the discussion I had with you was like, I feel like I lost that a little bit in terms of the whole mantra of just doing shit. Stop overthinking shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I think what got me to where I am in my business is because I always just took action. There was never a second thought or a plan B.
You never doubted yourself that much.
I never doubted myself, and I think somewhere along the way I kind of lost it probably this year a little bit, or it felt like I lost my way. And I think the skill that we've been able to acquire through this, if you can call it a skill, is just going, man, you need to stop being a fucking pussy. Right? And I think a lot of the stuff that we've been doing in terms of the running and meditation has brought that back up and go, okay, you are capable and competent.
You can be a demon, bro.
It can be a demon. And I think one of the skills that really comes to mind is being able to call upon that demon. Like, I can switch him on now. Like, even today, during the run, the thought process was like, I know you're there, and I know you can help me get through it if shit got hard. But it never got hard. But knowing the fact that he was there and I could tap into him was a good skill to have.
Yeah. It's like a switch. You have this switch. You can even apply it to when you're working. You can be sitting there thinking about all the work you have to do that you don't want to do, or you switch on and you go, well, this is what separates me from whatever life I don't want to live, or whatever pussy version of myself I don't want to be, so let's go. And then you just go and do it.
Yeah, and the skill is just do shit, you know? And then that's the thing that a lot of people lack in terms of, you know, wanting that success or creating that success for themselves. They lack the skill or ability to go back themselves and go, yeah, I'm gonna make this work no matter what, you know? I think that's a skill in itself.
Yeah, so what I wanted to add onto this is, first of all, it's amazing that you have that back. The second part I'd add is, it's so closely tied to your physicality for a man. I can't say the same for a woman because I don't live in a woman's body, but when you have a man who is taking care of his health and he's doing his runs, he's doing his training, he's doing things that actually bring out a bit of aggression, like pad work we do, the Muay Thai that we do. There's a bit of aggression involved in those things apart from the fitness. When you have that part really structured and you're constantly pushing that threshold for yourself, that demon usually comes back out. Like that, you need to build him. When you start being too soft and you don't do anything, you don't push yourself physically, you don't give yourself that hardness, he generally goes away. He doesn't come back. Yeah, and I think definitely the physical part, besides being fitter, it's that grind, that pushing through, that time when you're thinking, oh no, I don't want to do this, but then you do it. That constant win that you're having over that voice also allows you to be more directed and focused again.
Yeah, I definitely feel healthy, man. I think it's probably healthy as I've been in God knows how long. I don't even remember ever running 8Ks. I've done 5Ks in cross country in high school and that was about it. So to know that I did 8Ks and had more in me was good. But more than anything, I think the laser sharp focus of productivity over the last 10 days has been unreal. Yeah, and the pad work has been a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Yesterday's recording, remember, I was fucking
yeah.
That was a highlight. That recording was the best.
Yeah. Yeah, but even that stuff, like that's unintentional, but it's just when you put guys together, like guys have those moments a lot, you know, when you put a group of guys together and we just fuck around, we have those moments and we need that. We need that time where we're trying to do something but we have a laugh. And that kind of gives us a reset and then we can focus again. The other thing I want to bring up is when we talked about why it is that you felt you were losing a bit of yourself, the self that got you to the position where you were at. And it wasn't a bad thing, but you said that once you started having the girls, when you thought about the girls more, you started to think differently about how you approach your decisions because you had to look after the girls.
Yeah. You're going to get me on this one. Yeah, fuck. This one's not easy to talk about, but it's like any married man with kids will probably might understand this, I hope, or be able to resonate with it. But we're a single income household, right? And I guess there's a lot of pressure to provide and make sure we can keep a roof over our heads, pay the bills, make ends meet.
And give them the life that you want to give them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, stuff that I never had, you know.
Yeah.
And that's always on the back of my mind, you know what I mean? And before the girls came along, it's always been like, whatever I gotta do, I'll do it. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, my back against the wall is how I work best. Which is why I the challenge upon myself the way that I did, and 10 came up in 10 weeks. Because there's no backing out. And whilst I might fall flat on my face, I'm okay with that because I know that it won't be through the lack of effort and action. So coming back to it, I feel like having the girls there means that I need to be more careful about how I go about my business. The decision-making process has somewhat slowed down, so to speak, because I guess I need to manage the risk involved, right? Because sometimes when you're running a business, it's literally do or die. And that's how it feels anyway, right? Because if you don't work, you don't get paid.
Well, you're the business owner, so you don't work, you don't get paid. If your business fucks up, you don't get paid. Your employees probably still get paid, but you don't get paid.
And you manage a team of people, and one of the hardest parts about running a business and managing a team is people, because they're the most unpredictable component of any business, right? And sometimes running a business really feels like you're sort of putting out fires left, right, and center all day, every day, and it's constantly in the business, not able to work on it. So it's been, I guess, a pretty tough year in that regard, in terms of really trying to manage this pressure or this guilt as well, because of investing so much time in the business. I'm taking away time from family, from the things that I actually want to do. I want to be at home, I want to spend time with the girls, and when I do spend time with the girls, up until the last 2 weeks, I'm just always too tired. I come home and I'm just mentally drained. Like, I might play for a little bit, I might sit with them for a little bit, and I'm there, but I'm not there.
You might even like be thinking about shit, the business needs this or business needs that.
Or I didn't get this done today, and my to-do list grows longer and longer. And you feel guilty because sometimes I might sit on the floor, bro, and I'm just passed out. Like, I'll just passed out within minutes. Right. And I don't get to spend a whole lot of time with them because not long after I come home, it's time for dinner, bath, bed, and then next morning I don't see them because I'm out the door. And I come back again to the next day. So that energy wasn't there. So it's been a nice change. I have been tired still. I think even after on some days, especially the days when I haven't slept the night before.
Yeah.
It's been tough, but I still feel a lot better than I otherwise was.
Yeah, yeah. And you've also been able to role model because we've done quite a few of the training sessions at your place.
Yeah, that was intentional.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to sort of model a certain behavior and get them to see. And Tiff's gone back to the gym recently too, which has been great. And we're letting the girls know that hey, Mum's gonna go to the gym, or Dad's gonna fight with Uncle Phil.
Daddy's gonna go bash Uncle Phil.
I tried to get Callie to meditate with me last Saturday.
Yeah.
We were sitting outside having breakfast in the morning. It was just she and I who were awake. And she was having breakfast, and I said to her, "Okay, do you want to meditate with Dad? Dad's going to sit down and meditate. Just 2 minutes. I know she can't sit still. Just 2 minutes." And I have a recording. I'll show you later. I don't think I told you.
Okay.
And I go, "You want? You can sit on my lap." And then she sat there, and I said, "I'll know if you don't close your eyes because I've got the video on record." And I recorded it, and sure enough, whilst I'm sitting there for 2 minutes, I go, "Focus on your breathing, like breathe in, breathe out. Smell the flower, blow the candle." She's like,
"What is this?"
Yeah, I'm gonna show you the video. It's funny.
Yeah, but that's going to be so powerful when she turns like 10, 11, when she's not ruled by her mind, which you are now aware of. She is, when they're kids, they're ruled by their mind and whatever stimulus you give them. But now that you're aware that you don't have to be, when they turn 10, 11, they can actually sit still. You can teach them all these things about, okay, actually, this is self-awareness, this is what about thinking, observing, and that's going to be a skill set that some people never had their entire life,
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that I'll carry with me.
When you talked about doubting your decisions, I said to you, the reason you were in the position that you got to before you had the girls was because you were the person who would put 10K in 10 weeks, 10K a month in 10 weeks, and you didn't think twice about it. But it's kind of like in order to sustain that behavior or that what brought Prime to where it was, you still needed to be that person that made decisions, took action. But at the same time, you're not the first person I've heard what you said about being careful now that you've had children about how you make your decisions. You're not the first person. You're not the first person who, like, for the high-performing dads out there who feel guilty because they want to spend time with their kids, but they can't because they're making bread outside, and when they come home, they are too tired. I don't think you're alone in that respect, and it's a very normal phenomena for most people. Only 1% of men probably have that much money where they can go home and spend time with their kids and not worry about work. That's like a very, very, very upper class, high wealth individual. So I don't think you're alone in that respect, and I think it's important that I say to you that I'm sure, like, to me, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job because you are trying to spend time with the girls. Compared to our generation, the generation before, this was not a thing, like I'm talking specifically to the Asian immigration
generation.
I just ESL, bro. See, I'm an immigrant, ESL. Like our parents' generation, the idea of spending time with the kids was not a big thing. It was maybe we raise the kids, we don't spend time with the kids. You do your own thing. They might put you into education, things like that, but the idea that you want to play with them, nurture them in that way, and have that bond with them, it's just not a thing back in our generation. So you're already doing better than the previous generation, and if we came from money, yeah, maybe we'd be able to do a bit more, but we don't. So yeah, I think like it's guilt. I think feeling guilty is probably normal, but at the same time, I hope you're nice to yourself some days and somebody tells you that, dude, I think you're doing a great job at being a dad.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
I got you, man. The next thing I want to talk about is overall, during this performance camp, what do you think has changed for you, like mindset-wise, from besides the action taking? But what has changed for you mindset-wise from, say, Monday when we started, when you said, I don't think I can run 2 kilometers to now, 10 days later when you just run 8 and you still can do 15?
it's definitely set a new mental bar in terms of what I thought I was or wasn't capable of to now having done it.
Mm-hmm.
And I laugh because it was like Monday we did 2 kilometers, and 2 kilometers today was like
joke.
Yeah, it was piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a new mental bar in terms of capabilities, definitely, and I think that carries on into or flows into other aspects and areas of your life as well, because parallel to that experience or that example was like, fuck man, all it took was less than 10 hours to go idea, brainstorm, live, leads, sales, you know, those 5 steps there. So really it's like just about taking massive action and just back yourself.
Take massive action, back yourself. And what happens, let's just say it doesn't work out, you know, not in this strategy you're doing, but in other times of your life when you had taken action and it didn't work out, like what went through your mind?
Yeah, she can't. Yeah, she can't. Yeah, she can't. But back to the drawing board, you know.
Yeah. And you try again, basically.
Try again, man. You always got to try again. Like, don't get me wrong. There's always been times in business, fucking over the last decade, where I want to throw in the towel. I want to give up. Earlier this year, like back in January, I was speaking to a mate of mine who sold his gym, got out of the industry altogether. Like he and I started around the same time, and he's gone into corporate, you know. I considered that. I even fucking went on to Seek and started looking for jobs and stuff like that because I think I started to get bored of the fitness industry as a whole after having been there for so long and having done as much as I have.
You've done everything.
That any PT that's coming into the industry, anything that they're going to do, I've probably done it, right? And I just got bored and I started looking for jobs and I found a BDM role. I love sales, right? And I reckon I could make a fucking killing doing sales. Even if I were to work just straight commission, no salary, I'd kill it.
Yes, if you want to see your sales skills on display, go watch our sales bloopers. If you want to see your sales skills on display, I'm going to upload that 3-minute video on my Instagram because that's probably the funniest highlight. I mean, we had funny moments the whole trip, the whole camp, but that probably was the non-stop laughing for 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, that was good. If you want a good highlight bloopers reel, that was a fucking funny one. But in January this year, I was like looking for a job, and I just because I got bored, and I was talking to my mate, and I'm like, man, what's it like now? What's life like now? He's like, you know, selling me the dream. Like he's not working, like he used to run a studio, you know, and he was doing long hours, running sessions, running classes. After work, he'd run his programming and doing admin, and he doesn't finish till late, you know, and it's crazy. I'm like, fuck, man, I resonated with that so much because it was a long period of time where I felt like I was just grinding and not really getting anywhere. And then I just got bored and the business was at a good point at this point in time. I'm like, what else is there that's still going to challenge me a little bit more? And I lost the love for it for a little while, and it took me a while to sort of rediscover that passion in terms of why I do what I do, you know, and what's given me the flexibility and freedom to be able to do things like this even, right? Like over the last 10 days, like how many people can go, yeah, I'll do this, you know, just off the back of a funny conversation like, hey man, cool idea, let's do it. Right? And then be able to afford the time to go and do that without having to jump through a few hoops, you know what I mean? Like, how can I go to the beach on a Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon on a hot day, right? And we'll take time off because like, fuck, I don't feel like working today. Like, you don't get that sort of freedom working as an employee, and I was reminded of that. Because one of the reasons I actually went into business for myself is because when I was working in hospitality and in finance, I could be working the same hours, doing the same job, same title to Joe Blow next to me, and we're getting paid the same salary, but I'm working twice as hard. And that pissed me off, you know? So I'm a believer that you have to earn your stripes, and, you know, I get out what I put in. So if I put in effort, I'll reap the rewards for that.
Yeah, your freedom. No one owns your time. Right now, the people who own your time that you want to give to, the people who own your time you actually want to give to.
Like
your kids.
And like I joke about it in terms of success means different things to different people, and for me, it's not necessarily about the money, and I think the money will come as a byproduct of what you do it well, but more so I can wake up and do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. But there's no one, I don't think there's many people who would genuinely say that I want to wake up and be told to do certain things for my time.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many people in life that will say that.
No. But you know what, man? You can fucking fail at the job that you hate. So you might as well have a crack at something you are passionate about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise you're kind of wasting your time in this world, I feel.
That's what you feel. There's plenty of people who feel like, what's the big deal? That it's normal to just work 9 to 5 or 7 to 7 or 8 to 10, whatever, and then go home and live your life. Like, you go to work to live your life.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. But that's not how we think.
No, different people, different levels of ambition, you know, and I don't know, call us a different breed if you will.
Yeah, I just feel that it's just a different way of thinking, you know. We just don't think the same way that a lot of people do think, the ones who work in employee jobs. And it's not an attack, we're not accusing anything, but I personally would rather live on, say, a K a week, doing my own thing, with the opportunity to grow for myself versus earning 1.5, 1.8, 2, maybe 2K, right? Working for someone, but they own my time.
Yeah. And coming back to flexibility, this year I've been on 3 holidays alone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this guy's living the life.
You know, you can't do that when you're working for an employee. Maybe you can if you have a good employer, but you know, someone's got to pick up the slack in your role. And whereas, I guess, doing what we do, we have the flexibility not only in terms of our time, but you know, where we choose to spend our time and how we spend our time and where we do our work.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah, it is very nice. Yeah. Has this camp at all changed or renewed your love for the fitness industry or fitness itself?
I think it was there before the camp, but I think it's given me a new sense of purpose, if you will, you know, in terms of further understanding on a deeper level what my niche is. You know, I always knew who I was going to help, but now I actually know on a deeper level and more specifically who and how and what I need to do to be able to get to them.
Yeah, can you share a little bit? Just because I know some of you guys listening, you guys are PTs, right? Coaches, and I think it'd be helpful if you just shared the people that you wanna help.
Well, more specifically is commercial gym PTs, right? Because having done what I've done and seen what I've seen over the years in the industry, and I've coached a lot of PTs, you know, there's always so many that will come and go, and it sucked. I don't like it. And I don't think there's enough support out there being given to PTs, because once they've gotten qualified through their uni, their college, whatever it may be, they're left to their own devices, and unless they have that in them to go take the initiative and go, I'm going to go and study some more, I'm going to go seek out a mentor, what ends up happening is they end up struggling, and when they do, they fuck off. So there was a gap in the market for me that I identified, and I'm like, how can I help these people? How can I actually help these guys experience what I've experienced, but maybe shortcut that learning curve? Maybe learn from my mistakes, learn from my experience to be able to help them build a long and fruitful career, right? And I'm about bringing other people up. I always felt like I've had this sense of responsibility to help other people. And by helping other people, not necessarily like better their life, I think that's going to be a byproduct, but if I improve your business, you're going to live a better life, right? And that's why we have the business model which we do, in terms of you put in effort, you get rewarded for that, right? And now we're just building out an extension of what we already do, to not only work internally, but actually a wider market, because our mission is to, I guess, shorten that PT turnover rate or improve that statistic so people don't fall victim to it. So yeah, that's what I'm passionate about, I suppose, and those are the people I help, commercial gym PT. So if you're a commercial gym PT and you feel like a bit stuck, you're not really making ends meet, you're working more hours than you otherwise were in your previous job, and you're not getting paid what you're worth, I'm the one who's going to help you. I can help you. All you need to do is reach out.
I wish there was something like this when I first started my PT career. And I'm sure there was, but there was just, I wasn't aware that I needed help here. You know, like you don't even know you have a problem.
Until you have a problem.
Until like the problem is, oh fuck, I'm not getting paid.
But that's the thing though, see, by the time you realize that you have this problem, it might be too late.
Yes.
Right?
It was too late for me because by that time, my first time going into PT, I had lost my passion for like 2 years. I didn't want to come back. I was like, oh, that's not for me.
Yeah.
And look at me now. I'm still coaching to this day, but for I worked for about 3 or 4 months initially, and then afterwards, I just left for like 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah. So the problem is that a lot of people wait, and they're reactive to their situation rather than being proactive. And one of the reasons why we put up as much content as we do across my channel, my personal channel, and Prime Performance channel, is a lot of free education that they can hopefully take and apply. You know, quick concepts, quick methods that they can hopefully use to turn their business around. And if they like that and they've got a result on the back of that, then sure, reach out. You know, be proactive, because by the time you wait, fuck man, it might be too late.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
To those who are listening and you want to learn a little bit more about it, I'll just give you from my perspective, why I think it's really helpful. So Will's got his ad out. You would have seen it on my Instagram, and if you go on his Instagram page, you'll find it. But for me, what's interesting about what he did is you want to look at how he structured his offer. You want to look at the ad he put out. You want to look at everything he's offering, and you want to look at how he's giving you your money back if he doesn't get you the results that he's promising. And that in itself, that ad in itself, everything about it is a very high level of business skill that you can learn for yourself simply by looking at his ad. Because if you look at the ad, we can learn something, and he's already got 6 or 7 leads from it. And that's because he did it in such a way where the risk for the individual like yourself is very low. And that's a skill in itself.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Hormozi talks about making offers that are so good people feel stupid saying no.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Like in my heart, that's how I feel. This is it, because if we math it out, and I did a post on it last night, because a question came through about how much money can I potentially make over an 8-week period, thanks to you.
Yeah. Well, it's important, right?
Yeah, it's important.
ROI.
It's important to highlight. Yeah, it was a return on investment. Like if you invest $100, right, and a bit of your time, 2 weeks, if I can generate you 30 leads, if you can convert 20% of them, that's 6 people. And if you've got 6 people paying you, assuming they only do 1 session a week, which is hardly the case. Most people will do maybe an average of 2. But let's just say worst case scenario, they sign up for 1 session a week at, let's say $100 a week, just to make math easy because I don't have a calculator. 6 people, 6 sessions a week, $100 per session, that's $600. Is that right? I'm Asian, but I'm not good at math.
Well, you're asking the wrong Asian as well. Yeah, I think that's 600.
So $600. So congratulations, you've just earned yourself $600
per week.
Per week off a $100 investment. But also you got to consider that $600 is going to be recurring revenue week on week. Mm-hmm. Provided you're a half decent trainer. Mm-hmm. Most trainers should be aiming to retain their clients at least anywhere between 6 months to a year. But let's say 12 weeks. Let's say 10 weeks. Fuck, make math easy. You go 600 times 10, you've made yourself $6,000 off a $100 investment.
Yep.
It's
quite lucrative, right?
It's fucking lucrative, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you take part? Worst case, you don't sign anyone. I don't generate you enough leads. I give you your money back.
So you lose nothing.
You lose nothing.
But you do gain something.
You do gain plenty. You got access to all these resources.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I've opened up your mind in terms of the possibilities. Mm-hmm. I put up a poll the other day actually before I launched, and the question I asked was, "What's the most leads you've ever generated in 1 week?" Right? And I had answers of 1 to 10 and 10 to 20 and whatever. Most people said 1 to 10. So clearly they've not got a strategy in place that allows them to ever experience what it's like to have an influx of leads organically. Mm-hmm. It will change your business. It will change your life if you're a half decent salesman too.
Let's talk about the leads first. What do you think is an average PT with lead generation skills, how many leads should he get per week if he puts his mind to it?
20.
20 leads.
Minimum.
20 leads minimum on the gym floor. And he'll convert, let's just say you're decent, so you convert 30%. That's like six people. So in a week, if you know what to do with the skills and your average, you could sign 6 clients in a week. Potentially.
Yeah. And that's the good thing about being in business, right? Because you're in control. This is your vehicle. And if you can actually be good at sales, let someone do the lead generation for you, show you how to do it. Maybe you can go and do it yourself later on once you've learned the concepts and principles around that. Man, you're going to have a lucrative business. You're going to grow so quick, right? And you will probably far exceed whatever income you were earning from your former employer in a matter of weeks or months.
Weeks,
right?
For sure.
If you've got it in you, but you need to have that dog in you. And when you're chasing after a goal, you've got to be that dog, like fucking going for that bone. And once you bite it and you find it, don't let it go. You know what I mean? And that's a mentality you have to have.
I don't know if you noticed, but your whole energy shifted when we talked about this business side. Now it's like that demons come out, your voice has changed, you sound more aggressive. Not aggressive in a bad way, but just passionate.
Yeah, because it fires me up, because cunts are like, sorry.
Don't worry, it's my podcast.
But no, seriously, cunts are like...
No kids follow me, man.
Cunts
well,
are like,
I hope you don't, because I swear too much.
I struggled to build my business, people not interested in PT. Motherfucker, listen, you're in a gym, in a commercial gym, you're telling me where you've got 1,000+ members and there's maybe just you and one other PT, even if it's fucking 10 other PTs. You've got a 1 to 200 ratio, right? How can you not build a decent business out of that, right? I don't think the problem is the gym or the demographic. I think the problem is you, right? Because what are you doing or what are you not doing, right? Have you ever actually sat down and reflected on what your business looks like, right? And it pisses me off because it's just an excuse because they're not taking responsibility for the outcome, right? So yeah, man, it just annoys me to no end, and that's why people give up.
Well, some people never even had the dog, you know.
To begin with, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but they want to help people.
They want to help people. They just want to do the training. They don't want to. I feel like there's a fear of rejection as well. That's why there's anxiety. There's a fear of rejection that goes with something like lead generation. You know, half the PTs are just too nervous to go start a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
They just think that it's awkward. They just think it's too pushy. Just to have a conversation, not even to sell anything. Yeah. Just to have a conversation.
Yeah, they definitely need to get over that fear.
Well, that's the only way. Like you just have to get over it.
And the only way to get over it is by doing
it.
You know, put yourself in that uncomfortable environment, and
sometimes it's a mindset thing too, though.
Yeah, too.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like maybe you're going about. It's like if you want to go date a chick, you don't start by asking her to marry you. Like you just met this person. You maybe don't even buy her a drink. Just say hello first. That's like what you do in a gym too. Just say hello first.
Yeah.
Don't pitch them anything. Just say hello.
Yeah, that's it.
Get their name.
Yeah.
And then maybe next time say hello again, and then see what happens. You know.
How's your day? Love your shoes.
Yeah. Whatever. Just talk to them like a normal person.
Yeah. Playing that.
Anything you want to add on to that before I wrap up the podcast?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. I definitely got a memorable experience, and I want to thank you for it, man. Because
you're welcome. It's been my absolute pleasure. So I've got three questions that I'm going to make up on the spot. Number 1, what has been your highlight? Could be anything. What has been your highlight of this performance camp?
The meditation. I think, right, in terms of experience or highlight as in like the shit we did yesterday.
Anything you want. It could be the actual service that we did together, or it could be just the brainstorming in between, the funny stuff. What has been your highlight?
Oh, bro, yesterday was a downright killer. I couldn't stop laughing. Alright, I'll share with you guys this. Yesterday we finished our PM session, and this guy left my place and he just sat in the car, and I know you guys might have seen it on my story. If you got to watch it today, you'll see it on my story. But we finished our PM session, pad work at my place. This guy leaves and he walks out of the gate and he sits in his car. I go to stand up and close the gate, right? And I see this guy just giggling to himself in the car. And he's looking down. I knew he was looking at his phone. I knew straight away this motherfucker was looking at watching our video and just sitting there laughing by himself.
It's so funny, man.
You're watching that video, yeah.
That's definitely one of my highlights too.
Did you see that story I put up last night?
Yeah, I reposted it. Yeah. That was very funny. That's just for me. That is one of the side effects of the camp. I knew that when you put you and me together, or you and another guy together, maybe me and another guy together at some stage, stuff like that just happens. It's just a guy thing. It's a guy thing. It just happens with dudes who have a relationship.
Yeah, it was funny, man. Fucking hell, that was hilarious. But meditation has probably been the highlight for me. I really enjoyed that experience. I think having it guided really helped as well in terms of like improving that meditation experience, rather than just sitting there in silence, by yourself.
You didn't know you could do that stuff, did you? Like you thought maybe you just sit there.
No, well, we did that today, like for an hour. So there's a couple of PBs there. We've gone from Monday 2K run to 8K.
Oh, we should do a recap actually.
Yeah.
Well, you want to do your recap?
You'll probably remember better.
Okay. All right. So the recap is in terms of the running. Will started at 2 kilometers, and today he finished on 8. But overall, the volume that he did from Monday to Friday in the first week was about 15 kilometers, I believe.
Oh, you know what's crazy? I was thinking about it on the drive home. I could have ran 15 today. That would have equated to last week's entire volume.
Yes. And this week you did probably, 24. I would say, 24. Yeah, 24. Yeah, so that in that respect, he's already running enough mileage that would keep him healthy if he was just to do this moving on. Like if you just did this moving on, you'd be in the healthy range on top of your weight training.
Like maintenance, how much volume, how many kilometers should I do each week moving forward?
Maintenance wise, if you can do 15 a week on top of your weight training, I think you're in very good hands. Okay. And then just make sure food wise, you should always be eating relatively okay. But if you run 5 kilometers every second day, and then you do your weights that you usually do, you'll be fine. Yeah. Absolutely. The second thing is his meditation was 15 minutes on day 1. By day 2, it was 30. And we kept it between 30 and 40, but today he did 1 hour. 1 hour. And now you've got that experience of 1 hour, so you can do any time you want, really. Yeah. The next thing was your training session. So you did you're gonna do 20 out of 20 by the end of either today or tomorrow. 20 out of 20. Right now we're on 19 out of 20. You might not have enough time to do your 20th one today, so maybe tomorrow morning we'll do your last one. But that in itself is a interesting experience. Yeah,
for sure. That's something that crossed my mind today while I was meditating. I came into this thinking, but this is going to be different, but open-minded and committed, and I'm proud, if you could say, that we didn't skip a beat. Apart from the one recovery session because she got too late and we had to be up at 4:30 in the morning next day. Yeah. Apart from that though, we haven't skipped a beat with everything that we've done. So. Yeah,
but also the recovery isn't really I've got to go do this thing, Like recovery for you would have been you lie there and then I just do whatever I've got to do. The training sessions is more like, I've got to do this. Like I have to put energy into this.
Yeah. So it was good.
Yeah, so now the goal with 20 out of 20 is now will never struggle to do even 5 sessions a week or 6. You have this experience that you can do 20.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Journaling. So you, after every session, you would just write down things that came to your mind. Yeah, I think we've achieved that almost every day, and it was for 5 to 10 minutes after your sessions. Did you find that to be helpful in?
Yeah, some days it did. Some days when during meditation nothing really came about, then it's sort of like, okay, I haven't got much to write, so just jot down just a few dot points. But yeah, it's definitely helped. I think that day on Tuesday when I came up with that idea, that conceptualized idea of running a 14-day challenge, I had heaps to write, and it was all the things that came to me about how I'm going to do this and who I'm going to market to and all that kind of stuff. So that was a really good day.
And then apart from that, I would say it's just the meals. Like I cook 3 meals a day, and so we've had 10 days. It's going to be 30 meals by the end of this. And you haven't really complained once. You've eaten everything. You've lost weight.
Yeah, definitely. So I haven't weighed myself or measured myself or anything, but I know I can see it in my physique. I've lost weight. Thanks for having to deal with my body fat yesterday. I was eating, kind of expired Scotch fingers, but they still tasted great. Didn't affect my run today, so it's good. But yeah, the meals have been good. It was a nice variety every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There was only one meal that I didn't like, which was shitty.
That was my favorite.
But apart from that, bro, it was good. I look forward to the meals too because I get to sit down and eat and not have to worry about it, and the food cleans up after me too, which is great.
Yeah, all part of the service. Another thing that I like to think about, that you don't really market this, right? You don't market you will stay injury free. I don't market that on the, although it's a big problem in our industry. I don't market that, right? But you have been, after 20 sessions, injury free.
Yeah.
Nothing terrible has happened to your body.
No. So all those rub downs would be nice.
Yeah. All the rub downs, all the.
They did fuck me up today actually. That needle. Oh. The 2 needles that you stuck in my thighs.
In your left hamstring.
Yeah, bro, that fucked me up.
Yeah. That wasn't unintentional though. That was just, for some reason, that hamstring is always just jacked up. Yeah. Okay, next question. We've got 2 more. Next question is, what do you think from this experience you're going to take away and use for sure?
Meditation.
Yep.
Definitely. Running. Again, I don't enjoy it, but I do it because I like how it feels. How it makes me feel. Clearing brain fog. Jesus Christ.
Of all words to get mixed up on, it's brain fog.
Yeah, brain fog. What else? I think the feeling of being me again. I'm not second guessing myself. It's probably the big one. And knowing that I was able to share part of this experience with my girls as well, like some of the memorable ones, would be fucking hitting the pads, going out, and then all of a sudden this girls walk up to me, I love you.
Yeah.
Come on,
kiss daddy.
Kiss my pants.
Yeah. Kiss daddy. How can you not melt? You melt. Like, I look at it and I melt,
So that's cool. And then, my wife sent me a photo. Tiff sent me a photo of them when they were out of the park and Callie's doing push-ups. And she's like, oh, I'm doing push-ups like daddy, little shit like that.
Yeah. I hope you remember that anytime you feel guilty, man. Like, that stuff is cool.
Yeah.
That stuff's really cool. That stuff is so sweet, but also, like, they're not going to realize just how much you're setting them up. Not just financially because you're doing that, but the habits they're watching you do, the meditation you're going to teach them, you're setting them up for life.
Hopefully.
Ah, shit. I hope I don't fuck them up.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Having experienced this camp, who would you recommend it to next? If you would even recommend it. Hope you do. But having experienced the camp, who would you recommend this camp to next, and would you do it again?
Yeah, Lauren, I was thinking about that today. I was like, man, I'll definitely do this again. Who would I recommend it to? Fucking anyone. Honestly, anyone that wants to not be a bitch.
Not be a bitch. That's my motto.
That's our mantra. We'd go for runs and we're pulling out,
in the West.
Holding our phone in the West. Phil's holding his phone and holding us running.
Yeah.
Hello to from your 2 favorite IG
wankers.
No pussies here!
And I'm getting this at like 5:45 a.m. in Annandale. Which, as you guys know, Annandale is quite a politically correct suburb. And you just got these 2 guys with tattoos and from South Sydney, Southwest going, no pussies here, motherfucker. You don't know me.
Yeah, no, that's
That's to the fun.
But anyone honestly that wants to, I guess, improve themselves, to any degree. Like, I don't think there's a limit. I don't think there should be a limit.
Well, thanks for saying that, man. I wanted to really help change someone's life, not from the perspective of what the Biggest Losers market. They just market, oh, you're gonna go from fat to slim, and they're gonna be happy afterwards. We all know that all the Biggest Loser contestants fucking gain their weight back, or they just get sad. They can't deal with the publicity and all that shit afterwards. That's not what I mean by changing your life. What I meant by changing someone's life is actually doing the things with them that they wanted to carry on with their life, like the eating well, the training, the meditation. I will do it either with you or I will guide you through it, so I know that you are actually doing it. And then you've seen the effects after 10 days, you've seen the effects, so I know you've changed. I know you've changed because you've gone from 2Ks on Monday to 10Ks, 8Ks this Friday. I've seen the change. It's not like this woo-woo thing about, oh, I feel so good about myself. It's more like, measurably, Will has gone from 2 kilometers on Monday to 8 kilometers 10 days later. Everything's measurable, it's real. And that's what I mean by actually helping someone change their life. It's not woo-woo, nice words. It's not about that. It's about put in the work, let's fucking see you do it. I'm gonna do it with you, and the results are gonna show.
Well, I got a question for you. Who do you want to work with next?
Great question. I was actually gonna plug myself. So, the next person I want to work with is probably somebody who would like to really be done with being overweight. If you are somebody who is struggling with their weight all your life and you're a dude and you want to experience like a 10-day camp where I will show you absolutely everything that you need to know and do, and I will do most of these things with you in order to not only lose weight in that time but to maintain and continue losing weight afterwards, then I want to work with you.
For how long?
Initially, the camp's going to be 10 days, but then I'll provide, since it's a weight loss client, I will provide ongoing support afterwards. Yeah, so that ongoing support would be dependent on how long they want to stay together working with me. But essentially, I want to make sure that the habits that you have been able to observe with me and I've done with you, you are able to carry that through for, say, the next 12 to 16 weeks. And then if you can do that and you've seen the results for yourself, then you can keep it ongoing for the rest of your life. And then afterwards, if you want to work with the PT, you can go work with one of the PTs Will has at Prime. You don't need somebody of my service level to keep you accountable once you get to that stage.
And being your first client and having gone through this for the first time yourself, or taking me through it, is there anything you would change in the way that you operate or do?
No, I think, well, from the service delivery, I think everything was exactly as I planned it, and I think it was very effective. I think the service itself is great. I think in terms of how I would look after myself would be not different, but I would think that I can't run these camps all the time.
Yeah.
Like 10 days with you, and I know you. So the energy to get to know you and gel is not that high. But I could probably only do this once every 6 weeks or once every 8 weeks. After this, I'm going to be exhausted. And it takes a lot of energy from me to keep giving it to whoever I'm working with. So I would increase the time between these camps. And because I have to do that, I would increase the pricing for the next person too.
As you would. And I think one thing worth mentioning, I also mentioned to Phil the other day, was that Phil is highly skilled, right, as an individual. For any other person to go seek out the sort of services that Phil is offering, things like remedial massage, needling, because he's a physio, being able to run PT sessions twice a day, being able to coach you through meditation, cooking all your meals. That's 5 different fields already in itself, right? Did I miss anything?
No.
Right?
No. So probably like if you want to talk about actual coaching, there's PT and then there's coaching.
And there's performance coaching. And also have a business coach as well.
Oh yeah, business, yeah.
Business coaching in itself isn't cheap, right? So you got 6 or 7 different modalities there in the way that this whole thing operates. So if you were to go and seek out 6 or 7 different individuals, you'd be paying a fair chunk of money. So value for money wise, I think this is definitely, a killer.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I think that just to finish off the episode, as far as helping a man goes, one of the biggest things for a man is agency. You talked about it, freedom, and like having control over their own life, but also respect for their own life. And apart from all the training and meditation, all this stuff that goes into the physical and mindset side, I think one of the ways you achieve that freedom is earning your time. And the only way to really earn your time is to build your business skills and acumen. And for those of you who have followed me for a long time, you know that I'm an entrepreneur myself. But for those of you who don't, I've run my own business since I was 25 years old, and I'm 30 now. So I do have a skill set in that component where I can probably get you from solo to 6 figures, low 6 figures, like 100 grand-ish as a freelancer, just with my skill set alone. If you wanted to get from 100k to say a mil, close to a mil, that's when you're talking to somebody like Will, who's scaled a business that big. But essentially, I can teach you how to earn your time, get the skills you need, and to build into the person that you want to be initially. And on the top of that, that in itself as a business service offering, business coaches are charging what, 500, 600 an hour for a course like that?
Yeah.
For a course like that. And with this camp, because I spend so much time with you, besides all the physical stuff we do, there's times when we actually talk about business. And Will and I were brainstorming because I was bouncing off him, like helping him bounce his own ideas. But if you don't know anything, I'm giving you the experience that I paid other coaches for to teach me in business too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. On the money there.
Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to the final recap and summary of the performance camp. And look, if you've been following the stories from day one, I'm sure both Will and I just want to say thank you for doing that. And if you've shared it to anyone, not just for viewing reasons, but because you believe in what we're doing, then thank you again. And I hope to give you more episodes like this with the future men that I work with. Will, any last words?
No, apart from everyone else that have been following along the journey, it's been a fun ride actually. It's been fun to be a part of, and one that I'll never forget. So yeah, thanks guys. And if you guys aren't already following Phil or you aren't following myself, be sure to do so.
At Will's World _ for Will, and you guys will only see this on my page, so you guys know this. Alright, thanks guys, and Will, thank you again for doing this, but also coming onto this episode.
Thanks, brother.
Done.
Hey.